Dragonites. How is everybody doing? We are here now for our next WIP and Chat for our I Will Not Desert You event. How's everybody doing? First, a little bit of housekeeping. Well, we've made it to the 13th of the month or so, depending on when you're listening to this. So what I need you guys to do is between the 15th and the 18th, send me a pic of your progress. Wherever you are comfortable stopping for a minute and taking a picture and sending it to me will be awesome. Please make sure I have it by the 18th, okay? Once I get all of those in, then we're going to do a drawing. And we're going to have a little giveaway. And then we will progress on until we complete our canvases or finish out the month and thus the event, whichever comes first. So that is what we're going to be doing. I hope you guys enjoyed the WIP and Chat. I realize it was a little rough, but you know, hey, got it out there, so yay. And I do believe that I have finally managed to tame the phone gremlins. Took some doing, but I think it's done. Let this be a lesson to all of you. If you have a YouTube channel, be sure that you clear the cache on your editing software, especially if it's on your phone. Otherwise, it's a huge problem. Anyway, needless to say, that much is already finished. So I'm going to go ahead and lay some drills down here. And we're going to talk about, now since the last WIP and Chat, as many of you felt, I felt the same way, that they did not give credit to ice cream as the world's best dessert. I'm telling you, it's the world's best dessert. So I'm going to dedicate this WIP and Chat to the top 10 U.S. cities that eat the most ice cream. So we're going to talk about the top 10 ice cream eaters, what cities they are, and have a little bit of fun with that. So, you know, let's hope we can do that. So firstly, let's find out about this. Oh, and by the way, I hope everybody had a nice Mother's Day or did something nice for their mother or in some way, you know, celebrated. We moms who never get a true day off. So, okay. The average American eats 20 pounds of ice cream annually. Do you realize that's like nearly 2 pounds of ice cream a month? Just saying. This sweet treat has endured as a popular dessert for decades, offered everywhere from classic soda shops and diners to beachside stands. But not all cities indulge in this tradition equally. Sightseer magazine has determined the top ice cream buying markets in the U.S. by analyzing grocery store spending patterns, focusing on at-home ice cream purchases, though notably not purchases made from ice cream shops. The results encompass all corners of the country from Alaska to Hawaii, revealing the top 10 U.S. markets that spend the most on ice cream per capita. Now, if you are in one of these cities, you have to say in the comment section what your favorite ice cream is, because you just have to. That's why. So, number 10. Do you think you know what number 10 is? Do you want to guess? Number 10 is Albany, New York. Average ice cream spent per person per year, $41.43. New York's capital city sure loves its ice cream. Albany residents spend over $40 per person on the sweet stuff in stores annually, and that's not to mention the dozens of ice cream stands, shops, and drive-ins found around the city. According to recent data, the most popular ice cream flavor in New York State overall is chocolate. So there you go, Albany, New Yorkers. You rate number 10 of all the U.S. cities in ice cream consumption. So good for you. That's great news. And you guys seem to like chocolate. So that's kind of nice. I don't think you can beat a good chocolate, you know, unless it's my personal favorite, coffee ice cream, especially Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream. Oh my gosh, yes. because, you know, the interesting thing was I love the smell of coffee. I love the taste of coffee, and I couldn't drink it for years and years and years because it just did not agree with me. And so the only way I got to consume coffee and enjoy the flavor was to have coffee ice cream. And it was a staple in my refrigerator literally all my adult life. It still is. And when Haagen-Dazs came out with coffee crunch bars, to die for. They are also a staple in my freezer at all times because, you know, hey, if the world ends tomorrow, I'm going out eating one of them. So there you go. Okay, so next city, number 9, Chico, Redding, California. Woohoo! Hey, Californians, I know you're out there with me. So, hey, listen to us. I actually have a cousin who lives in Chico and an aunt, so that's kind of interesting. Average ice cream spent annually per person, $41.45. The neighboring Northern California cities of Chico and Redding are included in the same market for this study as they share a love of ice cream. Situated north of Sacramento, this region boasts plentiful sunny days that pair perfectly with icy treats. Residents spend a lot of money in ice cream shops too. One local favorite, Savor, churns 60 to 75 gallons per week to keep up with demand, offering both traditional and unique flavors such as balsamic strawberry and Thai basil and honey ice cream. Yeah, that sounds Californian. No, avocado toast is not an ice cream flavor, but give it time. I'm sure it will come up that way one way or another. So yeah, so hey, Chico and Redding, look at you guys out there in the Central Valley just lapping it up, you know. So yes, when I grew up, I lived in Northern California. I was about 30 minutes south of Sacramento, which is the state capital. I was in a suburb of San Jose. And so, yeah, spent the first 21 years of my life there. Then we moved up to Oregon. I lived there for 7 years. Then we moved back to California and decided to try Southern California. And got back here in 1998 in February. And have been here ever since. So there you go. That's all there is to know about me. Boring, I know. So, yep. But yeah, like I said, I have my aunt and my 2 cousins, her daughters. One of them has passed, but the other one is still around. And they've lived in Chico essentially their entire lives. I mean, since childhood forward. My aunt got a job shortly after she got a divorce from my uncle. And she got a job at Chico State University as the music teacher. And so that's where they were raised and where they stayed. And, you know, one is still there. She's got a family now. She has a son who's quickly approaching adulthood, which just seems ridiculous. I can't believe how fast that kid is aging. But anyway, kids do that, as you all know. So yeah, so she's still up there. So I'll have to let her know next time I talk to her that they spend over $40 a year on ice cream. All right then. Okay, so that's number 10 and number 9. Number 8, also California. Woohoo! Monterey, Salinas, California. Average ice cream spent, $41.52 a year per person. The seaside region of Monterey and Salinas is known for its rugged coastline, charming villages, and local seafood, which many locals follow with a tasty treat, ice cream. Residents here spend an average of $41.52 on grocery store ice cream annually. Visitors to this popular tourist area should head to Revival Ice Cream, known for its award-winning bee's knees flavor made with local honey and beeswax. So yes, I love Monterey. The Monterey Bay Aquarium is in Monterey. I remember when that went in. Right next to Monterey is another town, a sister town, if you will, called Carmel, California. Carmel, California was originally settled by my ancestors. The Indian tribe that settled the city of Carmel is where I am a direct descendant of. And that tribe is called Costanoan, Costinoan. And I would like to take Jared someday, because supposedly one of my relatives said that the Carmel Mission, and for a long time we were known as the Carmel Mission Indians by the Spaniards, because, you know, they did that. They apparently have my family's baptismal and marriage records down to the 1700s, and I think that would be so much fun for Jared to see. I'm sure they're probably on computer by now, but be fun to see if they still categorized the really old records, you know, if there's anything left and they're not just ash. But yeah, I think it'd be really fun to go there. But yeah, Monterey is a beautiful town. The water is pristine and beautiful, and the sand is white. It's one of the few places in California where the beach sand is actually white, like powder white. It's beautiful. So yes, if you ever get a chance to go to Monterey, California, I highly recommend it, because they have amazing places. Didn't know that was the kind of ice cream they had, but okay. That'd be fine. I would try bee's knees. That sounds like a good ice cream. So that's number 8, Monterey and Salinas, California. Number 7, Springfield, Holyoke, Massachusetts. Average ice cream spent per person per year, $41.85. Springfield, Massachusetts, and Holyoke, its neighboring city to the north, spend more on ice cream than any other city in New England. According to recent data, the most popular ice cream flavors in Massachusetts are coffee, woohoo, way to go Massachusetts, chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, and Rocky Road, respectively. While Ben & Jerry's is the top-selling regional brand of ice cream in Massachusetts, many locals also opt for Richardson's Ice Cream, based in Middleton. Nice going, Massachusetts. City after my own heart. You like coffee ice cream? Heck yeah. Yum. So yep, they got all the traditional flavors in there, so that's good. Let me know in the comment section, do you like vanilla? Do you like chocolate? Do you like strawberry? And if so, do you like Neapolitan, where you have all three combined? Because it's two different things, people. I'm telling you. One is not the same as the other. Eating them separately is one thing. Eating them all together is another thing. So let me know. Do you like Neapolitan ice cream? Is that something you like to consume? Or are you content just, you know, eating them separately? It's not like it's a wrong or right answer, but yeah, let me know what you think. Because I remember they used to sell, I don't know, like a 3-gallon bucket of Neapolitan ice cream. And it just all the way through was chocolate, strawberry, vanilla. Just all the way through. I guess they figured everybody was covered that way. And do you like, oh, here's one I want to know too from you guys. Do you like your ice cream in a dish, in a cone, or in a waffle cone? When you order ice cream, how do you order it? Which do you want it that way? Do you want it in a dish with a spoon? Do you want it on a traditional cone, you know, one of those with that steel girder reinforcement in the bottom? Or a sugar cone? Or do you want a waffle cone? Which kind of all by itself is a dessert, just the waffle cone itself. But, you know, I could dunk that sucker in some hot fudge and be perfectly happy. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on that one. Okay, so those are the first 3 that we've already been through. Okay, so number 6, Juneau, Alaska. Hi, Alaska. Okay. Average ice cream spent, $42.38. Isn't it interesting to think of a place that's covered with ice most of the time is big on ice cream? I don't know, I think it's funny. Alaska's state capital is no stranger to cold weather, but that doesn't stop residents of Juneau from purchasing plenty of ice cream. Locals spend an average of $42.38 per person per year on store-bought ice cream annually. When perusing the aisles for their favorite ice cream, many shoppers choose Tillamook, which is so good. The top-selling national brand of ice cream in Alaska. One of the most popular local ice cream shops in town is called Coppa, C-O-P-P-A, a local staple that has made headlines for its unique flavors, including roasted turmeric or candied ginger. So that is an interesting flavor sensation for sure. All right, good work, Juneau, Alaska. Okay. Do you guys remember your first taste of ice cream? Do you remember when you first had the very first taste? Because, boy, that's when you found out that the world could be a good place. Yep. I think I was 2 when I had my first cone. It was mint chocolate chip ice cream. Now, why my parents decided that was the flavor to give the 2-year-old, I don't know. Probably because my dad loved it. It was something he really liked. So I was probably whining because I wanted to taste, and that was the kind he had. So that was the kind that I got to try. And didn't take me long to become a permanent fan. I still like mint chocolate chip today. It's not my favorite, but I'll eat that every time it's offered because, yum. There are some flavors that I like better, but you know, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. So yep, that was in our house growing up all the time. I think my brother was a big fan of it too. So that probably had something to do with it. But yeah, telling you, it's hard to not like ice cream. Like, who doesn't like ice cream? And if you don't like ice cream, what is wrong with you? Come on. You have to like ice cream. It's un-American. Come on. Are you a sherbet person? Are you an ice cream person? Are you a milkshake person? Do you like your ice cream soupy and liquefied? Like, what's your deal? Because let's face it, there's as many ways to eat ice cream as there are people. So since we're talking about desserts, we can just totally overdo it. So let me know in the comments. Okay, number 5. Sacramento, California. Woohoo! We're back in California. Sacramento, average ice cream spend $42.50. When Sacramento residents aren't shopping for ice cream in the freezer section of the grocery store, they're probably at Gunther's Ice Cream, a local mainstay that has been serving California's capital since 1940. Do you guys realize how old that store is? One of the original flavors, butter brickle, and is it good? Is still served today, but they have over 50 flavors to choose from. If you're having trouble deciding which one to try, opt for California's favorite flavor, Rocky Road. And that's funny because it's Neil's favorite and he was born here, so it must be true. There you go. All right, people. Number 4, we are going back to Alaska. We're going to Anchorage this time. Average ice cream spent in Anchorage, Alaska, $43.51. Anchorage, Alaska's most populated city, spends more money on ice cream per capita than any other Alaskan city. The city is home to Woohoo Ice Cream, Alaska's best-selling regional brand, which stands out from most brands because it doesn't use sugar as a sweetener. It only uses maple syrup or honey. Some of Woohoo's favorite flavors include Earl Grey tea, oh, I bet that's good, Velvet Thunder, or dark chocolate. But if you're looking for something a little more traditional, they also carry Alaska's top 3 favorite ice cream flavors, vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. So there you go. I'd want to try some of those funky ones. We have green tea ice cream out here. We have a couple of ice cream places that carry it. It's okay, but butter brickles to die for. Okay. Now, we're going back to California. San Francisco, California is number 3. Average ice cream spent, $43.75 per person per year. San Franciscans spend more money on ice cream than any other West Coast city. The most popular ice cream flavors flying off California's shelves include Rocky Road, chocolate, mango, strawberry, and green tea. For something more unique, head to one of San Francisco's many ice cream shops for regional flavors like black sesame or garlic-topped ice cream. That sounds weird. Anybody into garlic-topped ice cream? Ooh. I don't know. Black sesame might be all right, but ooh, I don't know about that garlic-topped ice cream. Okay, way to go, San Francisco. You recovered from that earthquake and you ate ice cream over it. All right. Number 2, Honolulu, Hawaii. Average ice cream spent, $44.80 per person per year in Honolulu. What better way to cool down on a warm Hawaiian day than with a bowl of ice cream? While Baskin-Robbins is the most popular national brand in Hawaii, a regional favorite is Lappert's Hawaii, based in Kauai. If you're visiting Honolulu or another Hawaiian city, be sure to also stop by one of the many ice cream shops offering local flavors like ubi, which is purple yam, makapuno, a type of coconut, lilikoi, passion fruit, and Hawaii's favorite ice cream flavor, green tea. So there you go. The Hawaiians are into fruity and green tea blends. Yum. So yeah, I love that Baskin-Robbins is in Hawaii also, because, you know, that's been a national brand out here for ever. At least my lifetime, probably longer. And, you know, I'm not a spring chicken, so we're talking a long time here. So yeah, that's, I think, fascinating that it's managed to withstand the test of time. So yeah. Okay, is everybody ready for number 1? Dun, da, da, da. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. Yep, you got it. New York, New York. It's official. The average ice cream spent, $45.27 per person per year. It's official. New Yorkers love ice cream the most. While the Big Apple's high cost of living certainly helps explain the high per capita spending, there's no denying that New Yorkers love a frozen treat. Based in New York City, Van Leeuwen Ice Cream is the top-selling regional brand in the state and also sells one of the most unique ice cream flavors in the country, Kraft macaroni and cheese ice cream. To truly immerse yourself in the ice cream culture of New York City, be sure to visit the MOIC, Museum of Ice Cream, to enjoy unlimited ice cream and explore fun installations and displays. That sounds like fun. So way to go, New York, New Yorkers. Way to go with your ice cream consumption. Kicking everybody else's behind in the country. Hey, woohoo. So yeah. So what is your most unique ice cream flavor you've ever tried? My brother actually, when he was going to Santa Barbara University before he went to law school, he was a manager at an ice cream parlor out here called Bernardo's. And he made their very first round of Mandarin chocolate that they had. It's a staple now. It still is. And that's been, oh my God, so long ago. But yeah, that was one that he introduced because he just was like, I wonder what would happen if I mixed this one and I mixed that one. Well, yeah, he found out and it was one of the top sellers, so they kept it. So yeah, he was there for quite a long time until it was time to go to Hastings Law School in San Francisco. So yeah, quite a thing. So yeah. But yeah, we have a place out here called, I think it's called McConnell's Ice Cream. That has very unusual flavors. But they have a kiwi that's not bad. I'll say that much. So yeah, it's very interesting. There's also one in Santa Barbara where Madonna often spends her time getting ice cream. She has a home in Santa Barbara. And we're about 40, 45 minutes south of Santa Barbara. We're actually closer to Santa Barbara than we are to LA by half an hour or so. So, yeah, so we can go and spend the day up there and go to the Santa Barbara beaches and, you know, all that kind of stuff if we decide to go. But yeah, so they have that same ice cream parlor up there. And you never know, you might run into Madonna. She has a home up there in Montecito, which is a suburb, an affluent suburb of Santa Barbara. Oprah Winfrey also has a huge house up there. I mean, like, you can see it from the freeway huge. Yeah. And so do, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of Hollywood stars do, because they can, you know, kind of settle in a quiet, peaceful place when they're not going into LA and, you know, having to go to the studio and all of that nightmare and headache. They can just come back and just, you know, relax in what feels like the countryside, even though it's not really, but it does feel that way. Santa Barbara works really hard at keeping their town, you know, a small affluent town. There's a lot of city ordinances and a lot of, you know, requirements and, you know, very few franchise type places because they want to keep it small and local. City where I live is the same way. They don't allow any franchise stores at all. So I have to go into the next town over, which is okay. It's about 20 minutes as the crow flies to get into town if I need, you know, something more than I can get at just the local store, which is okay. But I love it because you have to take a highway from here to get to the freeway to get into the next town. And so when I come back, even it doesn't matter how stressful it was, by the time I get on the highway from the freeway headed back this way, by the time I get back to my house, all the stress has gone. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about living in a little bedroom community to LA is that, you know, I can still get to LA if I have to. If I need, you know, to get to UCLA for medical care or anything like that, I can still get there fairly quickly. But from where I live on a daily basis, you wouldn't even know LA existed. So, yeah, it's really nice. It's peaceful. So, yeah. So, what'd you guys think of the ice cream facts? We'll teach those people not to put ice cream in the top 8 because look at that. I spend a whole time talking about ice cream. Because what is not to love about ice cream? Do you guys like gelato? Have you had that? Do you like spumoni ice cream? Nice Italian dessert ice cream. Has little pieces of jellied candy in it. So good. Sometimes little nuts as well. Yeah, that one took me a while. I didn't like that initially. I had to grow into that one. My parents always liked it, but it took me a while to like it. But I did learn to like it because, again, I have to say, what's bad about ice cream? I love ice cream. Yeah, that would be if I could only have one dessert for the entire rest of my life. Ice cream. What would be your dessert if you could only have one for the entire rest of your life? What dessert would it be? Would it be something warm? Would you have a tart of some kind? Or cake or pie or pudding or Jell-O? My God, you guys, can you believe it? Jell-O. Jeez. Anyway, what would you have? Because I can't think of anything much more delicious than ice cream. Love ice cream. Even bad ice cream is good ice cream. You know what I mean? Like you would have to really, you'd have to search to find a bad ice cream. Let me just put it out there. So yeah. Have you ever had a bad ice cream? If so, tell me in the comment section. I would love to know what your experience was because that had to have been something. Because, ooh, how disappointing to have bad ice cream. Oh my gosh. Man. So, yeah. That was all the news that's fit to print about ice cream. Okay, so Neil's friend that I was been telling you guys about is coming in tomorrow. We're actually picking him up in Santa Barbara to stay until Saturday. to help celebrate Neil's 75th birthday. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to go out and have a really nice meal at a restaurant here that is on the pier. So it's beautiful. You have an ocean view from the table, so that's going to be nice. Food is outstanding, so that's also nice. So yeah, we're gonna do it up. Yeah, can't let Neil turn a year older without really doing it up. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna have some yummy stuff. Hopefully we're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons. That'll be fun because his friend hasn't played in a long time. So that will be really fun. So yeah. And I did a diamond painting, which unbeknownst to him, I'm going to give him to take home with him on Saturday to commemorate his time here. So, and I've already sealed it and I've already framed it. So I'm going to show you guys. Those of you who are using this as a podcast, look up for a second. So here we go. Is this not cute? This is a Jasmine Beckett Griffith knockoff, I think. Look, there's a little dragon right here on the side. And they're both holding polyhedral dice, which is what you use to play Dungeons and Dragons. I thought he would like this. So I went ahead and put this together. I thought it came out okay. The drills were really nice, so I was pleased with it. So yeah. So that will be his gift to take home. So hopefully he'll like it and he'll think about us when he looks at it. So yeah. So that'll be going home with Jim. But up until that point, yep, we are going to have some fun. See what else is happening around town. If we can find anything that's actually going on that, you know, Jim doesn't get to see or do. He used to be a professor. Well, I think he used to work at Southern Methodist University in Texas. And he retired a year and a half ago. And now he lives in Washington State. So that's going to be an interesting thing too. They've had their house under construction practically since they moved in. So I don't know, they're rebuilding it from the ground up apparently, but we look forward to being able to visit them at some point and being able to see it. So his wife was just recently diagnosed with MS, and they don't think that's all there is to it because she's having some walking real problems. I don't know if it's technically gross motor, if it's neurological or what, but I mean, she has days where she really can't walk, and so they're undergoing more testing to kind of see if they can isolate what's going on and what they can do to help her. So yeah, that's why he can't stay very long. We asked him if he, wanted to bring her with him, and they could both come out, but he said no, he didn't think having her travel right now was a good idea. So I said, okay. So it's just him. And I said, well, we were going to let him sleep in Jared's room, and Jared was going to sleep on the couch. But he goes, no, I'm fine on the couch. He doesn't know how uncomfortable our couch is because it used to be, my dad had 2 couches. It used to be my dad's couch, and it was one that they got a long time ago, and it's one of those that if you fold down the middle cushion, it's got cup holders. So it's got like a plastic piece, and so if you try to lay on it, it's not comfortable. It's hard and it's just kind of miserable. But I also have an air bed, which is like 18 inches off the ground, which he's welcome to use too. So we'll go ahead and let him sleep there the first night. And if he wants to change it out, we're happy to do that for the next couple nights. But yeah, it'll be good to see him. He is one of the most intelligent human beings to roam the planet. And I like having philosophical discussions with him. So that will be fun. Mainly because I like to try to see if I can trip him up to where he'll forget the ethical part of science, because he thinks, science is fantastic and all the stuff we can do. And, didn't he watch Jurassic Park? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Yeah, so I try to point that out to him, and we have to discuss the ethical topics around science. So yeah, I like to do that because just watching the cogs and wheels of his brain turn is fascinating. I mean, he's brilliant. And so I enjoy those kind of conversations with people who, intellectually never tire. They just can keep going and going and going. It trips me out. So I think that will be fun to be able to talk with Jim again and say, hey, what's up? So, yes. Maybe someday I will tell you guys what our conversation was like the last time, which was a humdinger. We were talking about the ethics surrounding cloning and whether we should. And, the scientific, the potential and actual scientific benefits of being able to clone animals, people, body parts, etc. And, he thought it was great because, wouldn't it be wonderful if people could eliminate genetic and or hereditary illnesses and disease by genetic splicing? And, remember, he's talking to a woman with 3 kids with special needs. He forgets that, I think, sometimes. So I had to say, well, okay, so you can do that. Let's say you can do that. What if there's a potential for a genetic disorder, like let's say cystic fibrosis, which is 33% likelihood. So like 1 in 3 children. Okay, but let's say, you don't want to have genetic splicing. Maybe you want to, have a love child and, take your chances. He thought that was terrible. But he said, well, obviously it would be a choice. I said, will it? Because at what point will it not be a choice? Because choice looks like a lot of different things. For instance, sure, you might have the choice to go ahead and do it, but maybe the reality will be if you do that and the child has the disorder, maybe you won't be allowed, medical insurance. We already have a pre-existing problem with insurance companies. So, I can see it happening where all you'd have to do is say that, you knew that this was a possibility. You had a child anyway. So therefore, if your child is ill, you're not going to have any coverage. I could see that happening in today's political climate without any problem, since the cruelty seems to be the point. So, yeah. So I said, and he thought about it for a minute. He goes, no, that wouldn't happen. I said, really? You don't think so? Uh-huh. Well, all right. Let's say that, we can eradicate any and all genetic-born diseases, disorders, conditions, and we find the best way to do that is to modify embryos at the embryonic stage. And we do that. And if we can't do it, then we just destroy the embryo and, get a new one. Yeah, it sounds simple, right? Till you realize that, what about the children like mine? Is it then going to become a thing where you have to destroy them as soon as they become an embryo if they're not perfect? And when we start doing that, are we looking at a super race thing again? Because didn't we decide eugenics was a bad idea? So, yeah. So anyway, we got into these conversations, and it was so fun because, Jim can't help himself. He has to, he thinks science is so fantastic and there's so many wonderful things. I mean, we started out talking about, because they were discussing in our local media at the time about, hey, we think we're going to be able to clone a woolly mammoth. And when I heard that, my heart skipped a beat for a minute. And so I said to Jim, isn't that great? I mean, imagine what we could learn. And I said, okay, but Jim, what are you going to do with it? Well, what do you mean? I mean, they're going to study it. I said, uh-huh. Well, let's remember that woolly mammoths, from as far as we can ascertain by paleontology and by archaeology, they were pack animals. You're going to just make one? And if you do that, is it okay that you're condemning that animal to a life of unbearable loneliness so you can study it? See, there's those pesky ethics again. What are you going to feed it? Because all of the botany that was around during that animal's time period is gone. It's extinct. So what are you going to do? Make synthetic food for it to survive on? And how do you know that's going to work? I think sometimes we forget to think about all the possibilities. So, yeah, we talked at great length. I mean, the nice thing is that I have a lot of respect for Jim, and he's a very kind man, and he has a lot of respect for everyone. So, you know, we could have the conversation. So, but it was fun to see, you know, how Jim handled, oh, the excitement of that, and then, oh, I hadn't really thought about that, but no, that's okay, that will never happen. And then, oh, but look at what we can do, and then, okay, but yeah, should we? And what if something goes wrong? Who's to blame? Because somebody's going to get blamed, because that's how we operate here. Somebody always gets blamed. So who's it going to be? Is it going to be the people who didn't know that they had genetic anomalies? Are we going to mandate genetic testing for anybody who applies for a marriage license or who might procreate? Because again, do you see the problems lining up here? So, yeah, I mean, I reminded him that there's a reason why medical facilities employ an actual committee. It's an ethics committee that does nothing but consider ethical conundrums that come with any kind of medical study or experimentation or, you know, new procedures that could happen. Well, you know, is there any possibility this could be used, you know, against humanity? And if so, what do we do about it? Is there a way to stop it before it starts? Is there a way that, you know, we have to, you know, when we patent this procedure, do we need to make sure that it's an understanding that it is not to be used for any other situation? And, you know, and he goes, well, you know, he said, oh, that, you know, people don't, yeah, the scientific community would never do that. Sure, they wouldn't. And then I sent him the article that came out with the doctor in Japan that basically did human experimentation. I mean, he altered the genetics, the genes of a set of twins to make them immune to HIV. And apparently it worked, but boy, did he get slammed. He got slammed by the ethical council in pretty much every country. And then it got real quiet. So I don't know what exactly ended up happening. It was a whole big thing for a while, and then it was just gone out of the news. So I don't know what actually happened, because, you know, when you first look at it, you go, wow, imagine that. We can have human beings immune to HIV. I mean, wow. But then when you think about it, I mean, the bare minimum ethical concern that we're groping around with all the time in this country is, yeah, okay, this newfangled wonderful thing came out, but is it going to be something everybody gets, or is it only going to be to people that can afford it? Is it really going to be healthcare to the highest bidder and to hell with everybody else? Because we should have figured this out with COVID. COVID doesn't care if you have money or not. COVID doesn't care if you have loved ones or not. It's a virus. All it cares about is landing in you and multiplying. And I think we all got to see that up close and personal 5 years ago, and it's still around. I mean, fortunately, you know, we do have a vaccine, which happened in record time. Thank you, science. But it's still here, and it will be happy to kill you if you give it an ability to do that. So, yeah. So what do we do? Where are the ethics there? Are there any? I used to think that I understood where this country was on those kind of things. And I don't know now that I have any idea anymore. So yeah, so we have all these kinds of conversations, and it's really fun because, you know, his mind works much faster than mine, but mine works pretty quickly. And so we get to have these conversations, and then one of us will think of another angle. Well, what about in this situation? Because you can't do that in this situation because it wouldn't work. And so I just like to go on a brain picking expedition when Jim is here, because he has such, you know, this massive brain, so much more so than so many people do. So I love it. I love to find out, okay, well, how would you handle this smart guy, you know? So, yeah. And I think he enjoys the mind stretch, because I don't think there are that many brains in the world that could rival his. I mean, he's just uber smart. He just is, and he always has been. And so I just think he isn't challenged very often. And I don't think he thinks about it in 360-degree ways. Maybe 180 degrees. I think he thinks of at least two sides. I don't think he thinks about it in a global sense anytime that a topic comes up. So I like to make him do that, because it's fun to see what would the uber smart people do in this situation. Now, you know, it's also because, like I said, Jim is a really good person. And so I know that if he were in charge of it, it would be as ethical as he could possibly make it. And so that's good. But I also wonder where the line is too. So I like for him to explain it to me. Like, you tell me, okay, we're going to do this wonderful thing, and we're going to eradicate, you know, Down syndrome, and we're going to eradicate cystic fibrosis, and we're going to, okay, what happens if that just doesn't work? Or what happens if you thought you eradicated it and you find out, you know, in the second trimester, the baby has Down syndrome anyway, or cystic fibrosis, or any one of 1,000 other genetically related disorders or diseases? I mean, what are you going to do? You going to leave it to the parents? Are you sure? Because again, they're going to need coverage to help maintain that child's care. If there's one thing that those of us that have kids with special needs have learned, is how expensive it is and how hard it is to get an insurance company mandated by law to cover this child to actually do it. So, yeah, it's interesting. And I enjoy those kind of scenarios, because I like to think and hope that the people in charge of making our laws might be thinking about them too in some situation before they try to enact something. Present company excluded, because, you know, I don't think there's a lot of thought happening at all in our government right now. But in a traditional government situation, I would like to believe that before some of these things are created, because let's face it, sometimes they're on the, you know, on the foregrounds for quite a while. I mean, it was a long time that they played with cloning before they actually had cloning. So, okay, but then that came around. Well, I hope during that time frame that they considered some things about that situation. And I hope when the time comes that we can eradicate diseases, and you know, we're able to do that, and it is a choice, and people can decide, and we don't try to make that decision for other people's lives. I really hope that's a thing. So yeah, I mean, there have been plots about this in movies for generations. I mean, literally generations. Do you guys remember, those of you who are my era, or, you know, earlier, do you guys remember a movie called ZPG, which stood for Zero Population Growth? Oh man, if you haven't seen it and you have access to it, you ought to watch it. It's interesting, because, you know, my parents' generation, that's what they were excited about. I mean, in my parents' generation, they were already talking about, hey, we don't know that there's going to be enough resources on this planet, so you should only breed your replacements. That's it. 2 kids per family. That was it. One to replace you, one to replace your spouse, and that was it. And that's really, truly what they tried to do. So much so that one of the physical therapists that worked with my middle son when he was a kid, she and her husband had their 2 children, and they were so desperate because they wanted another child so badly, they adopted one because that child was already here. I mean, they could have had another child, and they decided not to, which is, I don't see any problem with it because, again, I have both adopted and biological children, and, they're all the same to me. So yeah, I just found it fascinating because the one thing that having an adoption is it's triple the price tag and then some. So it's way more expensive. So it just was interesting to me that because of societal pressure, they adopted a child rather than have another biological child and be considered, faux pas because they were only supposed to have 2 and they had another one. I mean, I just find it fascinating. I mean, who thinks about that now? The problem still exists, and in some ways it's worse, but you don't see that now. There are cultures, there are religions, there are sections of those 2 things that have lots and lots of children if they can. So, it's to me, and then you turn around and you have like, Japan, 1 kid, that's what you're allowed, 1. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's fascinating to me how humankind tries to figure out some of these dilemmas. And sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't really. And it's like, I don't know, was this a good idea or not? Yeah, it's just fascinating. I don't know. But there was a real shift. I remember my first husband and I, when we were going through all of the infertility, which is its own nightmare. Those of you that have been through it know what I'm talking about. But, in my grandmother's era and my mother's era, they were trying to do everything they could to not get pregnant. My era, and that's just, really, a generation. Well, 2 from my grandmother, 1 from my mother. My generation, 68% of the population suffered infertility for one reason or another. That's 2/3 were having infertility issues. That's a big change in one generation. And I think about that sometimes now because, there's still a lot of infertility. I think it's up to 70 or 71% now of all couples have infertility of one kind or another for a certain period of time. Some are permanent, some can resolve it with, various procedures that are available, etc. So, yeah, I just think it's interesting. How close to Handmaid's Tale are we? I mean, if we're really down to now just 1/3 of our population are fertile on a regular basis, yeah, it's a concern. And if that becomes an issue, because, they're already worried because our birth rate is down, right? Yeah, and it's going to stay down, and it's going to get worse if you try to make it so that, women can't have a say over their reproductive rights and freedoms. Yeah, you're going to see a lot less kids being born, you betcha. So if that's the case, what's going to happen when we can't compete anymore internationally because we don't have enough population? What happens when we don't have enough workers? Because the aging are still aging, and they're going to age out of the workforce. What if we can't fill those positions? Then what? We do a lot of short-sighted things with long-term consequences that we don't think through. Yeah, then we wonder why things get messed up. Well, I can tell you why. So, yeah. And I will tell you, when Jim leaves, I'm mentally exhausted because we will talk something into the ground because it's just so interesting to do that with him. I know sometimes he just looks at Neil and I like, why are these 2 people together? I know he has to because he's been Neil's friend, forever. And he was new to me, but, now Neil and I have been married forever. So, he's used to seeing me and we enjoy each other's company. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But it's been a while now. I think it's been 6 or 7 years since we saw him last. You know, I don't know. Do you guys do this? I always think about things in terms of before COVID and after COVID. And it's so weird because ever since COVID, since we were all, you know, shut-ins, I have a hard time trying to remember time frames. Like, I have to really think back. Oh, was it before the epidemic or was it after the epidemic? I mean, it's just, I don't know why that year and a half just, I don't know. It did something to all of our brains because I'm not the only one that has that problem. I know I've seen people out in the world, even at the bank, going, oh my gosh, how long ago was it? Was it really that long ago? Yeah, that's what it says. Oh my goodness, I had no idea. And I can always feel sorry for them because I'm like, yeah, I feel your pain because wow, it was such a thing. I don't know. And I think we did learn some things. Well, I'll tell you what, essential workers learned some things. I was hoping more of us would learn some things, but if wishes were dollars, I'd have my roof fixed, right? So, yeah, oh well. So yeah, but it's going to be good to see him. We haven't seen him for a while. And last time we saw him, we saw actually both of Neil's best friends, Jim and Danny passed away 2 years ago now. And that was hard on everybody because they were like a little group of boys, you know, they were a pack. And so, you know, elementary and middle school. And then some of them, Neil went to a different high school, but they all went together. And so there was one other person. It was they had 3 Jims in their group, but one of the Jims passed away and they all went to the funeral in another state. And then it was just everybody was okay, and then Danny passed away. And then the other Jim, not the one coming, but yet another one, has had cancer twice. Still around, but yeah, it was life-changing for him, obviously. So, yeah, we just value every minute. You know, and it was sad because Neil lost Danny right before the holidays came or fall came, and then I lost Lisa the following spring. It was a very sad time here in this house for a long time. So, yeah. I don't know, there's something about it, you know, you expect to lose your parents. I mean, you don't like it, but you know that is the way it's going to work if everything goes accordingly. I mean, that's what happens is the prior generation goes and then you bump up the scale. And so you know, as much as, and as hard as it is, and it's terrible, but you know that that's the way it works. But there's something about your best friend, especially if you've been best friends for a long time, and they're your age or around your age, or God forbid younger than you, and they pass away. I mean, it's just the unfairness of that is just really, it's been a thing. So we're going to relish our time with Jim because, you know, he's been Neil's friend for what, 65 years or more? Yeah. And so
70.
Okay, 70 years. So, you know, they're like brothers. I mean, they don't get any closer. So, we are going to enjoy his company and just be glad to see him and glad he could make it and enjoy Neil's birthday. And, you know, I felt so bad because of COVID, Neil got aced out of his 70th birthday. We were all in lockdown. So that milestone came and went with no pomp and circumstance whatsoever. So this time, we definitely want to make sure that we all understand it's a party. It is a party. So we're going to eat too much. We're going to drink too much. We're going to talk too much. We're going to laugh too much. We're just going to have a good time. So he will be here from Wednesday to Saturday. So you guys probably aren't going to see me much. I'm going to try to get at least a couple videos that I can put out so you don't miss me too much, you guys. And then I'll try to get back with you you know, by the end of the weekend. Are you a popping drill? What is this? Get in there. You are a popping drill. So, so yeah, that's what's going to be happening around here. So, do you guys have anything upcoming that's, you know, weighing on your head, or you're excited about, or you're just begrudgingly looking toward it, but you don't really want to do it? What's going on with you guys? Well, I've talked your ear off for a whole hour, so thank you for hanging out with me. So I'm actually on row 3. So this is the first part of the canvas. I did actually post this in Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0. So, but yeah, so I finished the first 2 rows, this much, up and all the way up and all the way down, for the first posting period for, because I'm doing the same canvas. I'm doing it for I Will Not Desert You, and I'm doing it for Crafty Chef Diamond's food celebration. So also, that's another thing I needed to tell you guys. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Sorry, Laura, I almost forgot. So Crafty Chef Diamond is letting us go ahead and post our pictures in the Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0 Facebook page. Her hashtag is #CelebrateFood. Ours is, I think she said #DesertMeNot, because that's how she says our event, even though it's I Will Not Desert You. #DesertMeNot. If you do post it in the Facebook group, please use the hashtag. If you post it on your own personal Instagram, please use the hashtag so that we can all see them. And remember, so yes, so you can post on the Facebook page for Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0. You know, everybody's doing food. Her event and my event are food related. So, you know, I would say pop on in there, see what's going on. Join if you haven't. You know, there are some questions to answer, real easy ones. And then, you know, it's a theme-based Facebook page. So what she wants you to do is to post the current theme that's going on. It just so happens that we are doing food items and she's doing food items, so it worked, so we could get in there. So for this event, let's go ahead and do that. Post in there, say hi to everybody. The admins, Crafty Chef Diamond, Donna from Diamond Art Joy, and Scarlett's Little Crafting Corner are your admin team. So say hey to them while you're in there. Tell them I said hi. And yeah, post away in there, you guys. If those of you who really like to post on Facebook pages, it's a good one. So get in there and check it out. So that is what I have for you. So enjoy the rest of your week. Hang in there if it's been a tough week. Reward yourself if it's been a good week. Just go out and get yourself something because you deserve it. You are a Dragonite. You know that you are the most stunning creature ever to roam the planet. So, if anybody treats you any other way, what do you tell them? Exactly. You tell them you are not worthy and you walk away. Let them wonder what they're not worthy about. It's not up to you to explain it to them. It's up to them to figure it out. You got things to do and places to go and people to see. So, all right, my Dragonites. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I will still have my phone, obviously, so I should be available by email, comment section, etc. So if you need to ask a question or you want to send me your progress pic, remember I need it from between the 15th and 18th, please. No later than the 18th, 5 p.m. Pacific time. So somewhere in those 3 days when you feel like you've reached a point where you're comfortable taking a pic and sending it on as a progress pic, please do so. And then I will catch up with you in another WIP and Chat next week where we will be doing a giveaway. And we will be talking about what's going to happen for the rest of the event. And by then we're going to be closing in on it, you guys. It's crazy how fast this year is going. This month just is zipping by. Don't forget, if you haven't gotten your canvas yet for the Under the Sea event coming up in September, be looking because now's a good time to get a sale price because you got some time. You're not rushed. So find that one out. Also, November is going to be Luna and Lichens, Moons and Wolves event. Pick your canvas now, get it ready. If you haven't picked one, now's a good time for, you know, to find a good sale. Also, in December, we're going to do Our Better Angels / have a fairy happy holiday. Get your fae creatures out, get your angels out, get your winged creatures out. And I think the first event for next year, probably, I believe that Neil's going to be hosting, I think it's in March, for Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0. He's going to be doing planes, trains, and automobiles. So I will probably then do the first event in April. So I'm expecting it to be the Walk Like an Egyptian. Those of you that remember the song, that's going to be our event. Anything to do with Egypt. Pyramids, camels, pharaohs, hieroglyphics, you name it. Get your canvases ready. And really take a look, because a lot of the budget-friendly companies and a couple of the premium companies, if you just put Egyptian in the search engine, will come up with a couple of canvases for you to pick from. So start scoping it out now. See which one you want to do for that one. Also, remember, I need you to tell me what other event you would like to do next year so we can have a poll about it and decide which ones we're going to do, guys. So, suggestions. Also, don't forget, comment section. What kind of an ice cream fiend are you? What's your favorite? Do you like to eat it in a bowl, in a cone, in a waffle cone? What's your pleasure? Let me know in the comment section. And thank you for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. 21 more subs and I'll be at 1,500. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Pass it along, share it with people. 21 is all I need, and then I'm not going to worry about it ever again. But anyway, but it would be fun to get to that number because we're so close. I think it'd be awesome. So please subscribe, share, like, thumbs up, please. And yeah, we're going to keep on keeping on, you guys. So keep going with your dessert canvases. And Tansy Wolf, I saw your comment. Girl, I have missed you. Where have you been? Oh my God. Email me. And let's keep going. So far, the suggestions that I've had are landscape and mystery kits for an event for next year. So please let me know your thoughts. What kind of an event would you like to see? Also, let me know if you are interested in co-hosting at any point. And we can go from there. All right, everybody. Love you all bunches. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And remember, always be a dragon. Spread your wings. Protect those you love. Have fiery passion. Stay strong, slay your fears, and always fly high, rise up, and soar. All right, Dragonites. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll catch you on the weekend. Love you bunches, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.